Oh my god, hey! Welcome back to my Stagey YouTube channel. If you're seeing my face for the first time, my name is Mickey Joe and I am obsessed with all things theatre. This week I was invited to the Troubadour Theatre in Wembley Park for the press night of The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime. This is the acclaimed National Theatre production based on the best-selling novel by Mark Haddon that I read years ago. This production was originally directed by Marianne Elliott at the National Theatre, who also directed Warhorse, one of the National's big blockbuster plays that had huge commercial success, and this production sort of followed in its footsteps. It transferred to the Apollo Theatre in the West End and then the Gielgud Theatre, and subsequently toured all around the UK. It's a hugely acclaimed piece of theatre. It's had so many 5-star reviews. There's not a lot else that I can say about it, but I'm going to be letting you know what I thought of this specific return of the production, this new cast, and how I reacted differently to it compared with when I first saw it back in 2013. Here is my review. So this is still a 5-star piece of theatre. There's parts of my head that said it could be 4 because I'm very picky when I dish out 5 stars. 5 stars from me means that this is perfect. And I have to remind myself that this is an astonishing piece of theatre, and, you know, parts of it that blew me away the first time didn't because I knew they were coming this time. You know, the spectacle of it all and the way that it's staged and the way they utilized the ensemble and movement and technology is all still stunning. I just knew exactly what they were going to do. So I will say the incredible stagecraft of it all did not hit me as much this time. What did hit me completely differently was the emotional reaction of it all. So the first time I saw this play, I was 18 years old, and now I am older. Since I saw this for the first time, I have become a teacher and met many students who remind me specifically of Christopher Boone, and many students who experience life in a similar way to the way that Christopher Boone does and have similar lived experience. And so some of his scenes, specifically in education, specifically to do with the bureaucracy of him trying to organise his exams and looking towards his future, and members of teaching staff who are trying to look out for him but can't care for him in a way that's beyond their own professional capacity, that all hit me very hard and was incredibly relatable. I want to talk specifically about the very end moment of the show. Now, this is going to be a little bit of a spoiler alert if you don't know the show, if you haven't seen it yet. He's having a conversation with Siobhan, who is his teacher at his school, and he is talking about how much he has achieved and how he solved this mystery and how he achieved a great result in his A-level maths. And he says to her, "That means I can do anything, right?" And she pauses and looks out to the audience and then for a very long time doesn't say anything, and then turns back to say something to him, and then there's a blackout. Now, the first time I saw this play, that part's not in the book, which I'd already read. I had no idea why that was, and I had to unpack it a lot, and I was thinking, she just doesn't know what to say, and I sort of got eventually what they meant by that, but I didn't really understand it emotionally until I saw it this time. Because in spite of how much Christopher has achieved just over the course of this one story and this one narrative, there's still so much of his life that is going to be made needlessly difficult by the way that he has to experience life, by his being neurodivergent, by his experiences of being autistic. Officially in the script and in the original novel, Christopher is never referred to as autistic, but is widely understood by the autistic community to be an autistic character. For my part and my experience of working with autistic students, I have to agree that that is what is being presented in this narrative. But that moment is just so powerful to me when every part of the struggle he is going to experience in life just dies on her lips as she wants to tell him that but doesn't know how to phrase it, and sort of turns to say something pragmatic as she knows she has to, and we never hear what that is. The cast were fantastic for this production. They're doing an alternate cast, so there are 2 different actors playing Christopher as well as some of the other roles. At this performance, I saw Connor Curran playing Christopher. Connor is an actor who is also autistic and so brings his own lived experience to that role. Now, every time I talk about this controversy in casting, people pop up in my comment sections to tell me that it's acting and it shouldn't matter and anyone can play anyone, which of course is untrue. The very talented actors Ario and Biscoff, who are sharing the role of Toby the Ferret, could not play Christopher Boone in this production. That would be ridiculous. That's an extreme example, but I'm not here to talk about casting today. What I am going to say is that it felt so genuine and sincere and authentic to have an actor who understands Christopher's perspective playing that role. The whole reason that this show succeeds is the same reason that the book succeeds, which is it presents to you his narrative. You're experiencing the story from his perspective. and it's so good at showing you his perspective. Everything about the design of this show, the direction, the tech of it all, everything is tailored to give you an insight into his mind and what his world looks like and how different it looks through his perspective compared to your own. Or if you're someone from the neurodivergent community watching this show, then you will understand and relate to his perspective, and that will be a beautiful moment for you, hopefully. Rebecca Root as Siobhan was also a huge standout for me. She was, just gave the most beautiful performance, just subtle and layered in what becomes a narrator role, and because she's always seen in a professional capacity, can never display a huge range of emotion because she's always having to keep it quite professional. But the nuance that she was able to articulate through the smallest gestures and facial expressions, I completely understood every single moment where she was, the thought process. I got that performance completely. I also very much enjoyed Sophie Stone's performance as Judy, Christopher's mother. Now, Sophie is a deaf actress who was incorporating some level of sign language into her performance as well, which was another really lovely touch. It's great to see a National Theatre cast production, and this one particularly is quite good, where diversity has been built into the cast in a way that is not detrimental to the story whatsoever, despite what naysayers may think. It enhances the story. It gives actors an opportunity to show storytelling and to show emotion through so many other ways. It exposes audiences to beautiful performances that in a more homogenized West End show they otherwise might not encounter, and I think that is a beautiful thing. So aside from the casting of this production specifically seeking actors with a lived experience of neurodivergence, of autism, there are a few changes that have been made to the show. There are parts of the script where the language that has been used has been updated to make it just inoffensive, to make it more accurate, and to make it more appropriate. The only other part I noticed which was specifically different, and it's been some years since I saw the original production at the Apollo, when he is doing the part in the subway where he loses Toby, there used to be a wall that came forwards and he would climb up something vertically. That no longer happens. They stage that in a different way. It's still very clever how they do it. It's still very immersive. There is still a great amount of tension in that scene. They just don't have any kind of a wall that comes forward. The set, as you see it, is quite static. I will forever be in love with the moment at the end of Act 1 where, having built this giant model railway that he starts off by building in a small corner and it's just a little bit, and then as the tension is rising and he's discovering all these letters, he's building a crazy amount of model railway and he's getting props and he's running across the stage and he's pulling things out of cupboards and they're increasingly huge, and he gets a giant London Eye at one point, and he gets stations and trees and houses, and it snakes its way all around the stage, and then there's a moment where the train suddenly starts going by itself and the light turns on and it drives itself around the set. I will always love that moment. There was a slight issue with the train track where he'd fallen over it at one point and it became severed, so the train kind of hit a tree halfway around the stage and then stopped. If anything, I think that's more accurate to, current British rail circumstances. A curious incident of the dog in the night time would like to apologise for the late running of the model train service due to an obstruction in the track. Also, let us not forget, I am a maths teacher, and the little epilogue at the end of the show is thrilling to me. If you did not know, they do mention it in the play, but some people still forgot. Act like this is a Marvel movie and stay right until the end, because Christopher comes back on stage after the curtain call to give you a presentation of how he answered a particular A-level maths question. It's to do with Pythagoras' theorem and polynomials. The way he does it is so dynamic, it's so entertaining. There's almost a moment where I wish the rest of the show could be more like that, and he uses all of the tech elements at the end that haven't been used up until that point in the show. I'm like, if we have these amazing lights and these amazing sound cues, why are we saving a little bit of the punch for this moment right at the end that a few of the audience members have left and not even seen? It's really cool to be able to do that, but it does also make me think, could we have utilized this more in the rest of the show? Also, I'm a giant dog person, so the arrival of the puppy just breaks me every single time. I also really like trains, so I like the part where he is using the trains and like trying to travel into London. This is a great show for me. I relate to so many parts of this show. This is a really great show, I think, to to take young people to. It's a very family-friendly story. It's a really great way of exposing young people to different narratives from other young perspectives and exposing them to great pieces of theatre that are different to the other types of family theatre that you might get this time of year. Yes, you can take your kids to a pantomime, but when they get a little bit older, take them to Curious Incident of the Dog in the nighttime. There's lots to do around Wembley. You can make a whole day out of it. I tend to think that this is good date night theatre as well, to spark some interesting, stimulating conversation afterwards, especially if you want to find out if your date is a good human being whose morals align with yours. If anyone else is a teacher and wants to go see this production, it is wholesome, it will fill your soul, and it will give you a reminder that the work you do is valuable. It is not too triggering, I promise, especially if you work with vulnerable learners, with learners with a lot of learning difficulties. Go and see this show. It's worth saying, on press night, I was surrounded by a lot of schools groups, which normally is my least favourite thing in the theatre because I don't like other people that much. I really don't like children. But they were silent throughout. I've never seen a better behaved audience full of children. Everyone was completely rapt with what was going on the stage, which had some very quiet moments. It's not like it's a musical blasting out a lot of volume. It was quite quiet and sincere and intense, but everyone was so engaged, all of the young people were so immersed in that world that they didn't say anything. Now, this production is playing a limited run at the Troubadour Theatre, but it's also going to be embarking on a UK tour. So if it is coming anywhere near to you, make sure you buy your tickets. You will not be disappointed if you have not seen it before. It's a brilliant piece of theatre that is worth going to see if you like theatre craft, if you like engaging stories from different perspectives. There's so much to enjoy about this show. And if you are a fan of the show or you want to find out some more about it, I am giving away my press night program. It is a Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime program with the full cast list, including both of the casts. And if you've never had a National Theatre program before, they are thick, okay? There is lots in here. There are some beautiful rehearsal pictures. There's a load of background information for a lot of the science and the stuff that they talk about in the show. There's a lovely little foreword from Simon Stevens, who wrote this adaptation of the book. He was actually sat in my row. He stood on my foot before the second act. Claim to fame. He apologised profusely, but honestly, I was just happy that it happened. If you would like to win this, drop a comment down below with the hashtag MickeyJo giveaway and let me know why you would like to get this program. Also, make sure you're subscribed to my channel and that you have liked this video. Full terms and conditions for that giveaway are going to be in the description down below. Thank you so much for watching today's new review. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to subscribe to my channel for plenty more stagey content, including lots of other West End reviews coming very soon. What am I going to this week? You'll have to wait and find out. Also, if you want to support me as a stagey content creator, head over to patreon.com/MickeyJoTheatre for some exclusive photo and video content. I hope that everyone is staying safe and that you have a stagey day.
For 10 more seconds, I'm Mickey Jo Theatre. Oh my god, hey, thanks for watching, have a stagey day. Subscribe!